Check, check, check. All right, I think we're back. Did I do it? I did a hard reset on my computer. I have no idea what's going on with the stream or the Wi-Fi, but we are about to start round 2. So this is actually very good timing. I did a hard reset on my computer, and that made it work. So we're back. We're back. Round 2 is about to start. We haven't missed anything. I'm going to put the music back on for like a hot second while I get round 2 set up.
So many ocean waves since our childhood days, Joe. Lost my way to get your attention these days. Get past the boats and cars and things of who you are. I can take up golf and learn to be New York tough. Don't you wanna play like back in our Lego days? Hey, wanna watch Caddyshack on your Betamax? Yo-yos on the fan, spin them faster and faster and faster and faster and faster again. Steal the Christmas lights and sling them in the midnight sky. Anything's better than waiting for your call another Christmas night. Meet you at the panoramic view. Really, any rocky or sandy shore will do. Can't you see I'm gasping the air for that depth with you? Climb your sandcastles and see what lies beyond the ocean reach. What I learned to see from my group therapy, about what Grandma and Grandpa passed down to you and me. Ideals of religion, cultural superstition, beliefs from historical long divisions. They taught us how to marry and form ocean reefs round our families and decide who we snub at our country clubs. Joe, we are at 50 years old. Our kids are drifting and still against the current. I'm not swimming. Still paying the price for not asking your advice. Still first crush that you never thought twice. And leave me out here below this ocean reef as I dive deeper and 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 deeper. I sit here with all these regrets, waiting since 84 to hear when I finished and just one damn knock on my door. Return to my musical cedar, try to get you to see that your greatest wealth is the mark you made on me. Climb your sandcastles and see what lies beyond the ocean reef. Rise me up on your ocean reef. talking to you. You were texting the whole way through. Re-explain that this wasn't because of you. Looked up like you already knew. Just learned to drive my car. Stepped into the world of girls going too far. Still testing me over and over and over and over again. Got to teach the laundry soon. Add that to my list of my jobs to do. Dishes may take a bit longer, so you don't dirty your hands too soon. Saying you're too young. Still feeling that I'm not doing my job. Still trying over and over and over and over again. Just get me back to New Orleans. You would see our whole DVDs. You'd see what I mean. Now you're busy answering your Call of Duty, escaping it to TV. You're moving further away. At about the speed as we're growing up anyway. My mind goes over it over and over and over and over again. So let's kick back together. Cool summer weather is where I wanna be over and over and over and over again. Like when we were back in New Orleans. It's all the things my dad taught me. It's a mixture of time and chemistry. Habits you form and same hobbies you need. It seems that's where life's found me. It's hard to be hard on you. Even harder to teach that lesson to you. Since you've learned this art in school, what better way to get through to you? From voice to MP3, from my heart to a song on your iPod screen. I hope you stream it there over and over and over and over again. Though you're getting old for sleepovers. Pancake days will be over. I'll be there for you over and over and over and over again. To help you find your own New Orleans.
All right, here we come back. We're coming back. And I click on this button. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for listening. Oh, I went away. Sorry, that's my fault. Hey, what's up, everyone? We're back. Round 2 pairings are going up right now. Let me go get some players. And thanks for listening to the music. I'm going to be playing it all day. I hope you like it. I love it. I know my dad loves it. But let's go grab some players.
Is that yours? This is yours.
Stuff from work.
As we play here, or is our audio of our game going to pick up on his mic?
Field survival. Field survival.
Down there. Other side, like other end of this table.
You're playing Field survival. Yeah. The TO. He's going to be the judge for the Field survival, and he said that they're going to let that move on. Oh my goodness.
If we play a game here, are we going to pick up on your mic?
You will. Please don't play right there. Please put the box here and then move your game to the other side of the box. All right, we got Richard and David, and Richard is the guy who opened his decks in round 0. So let's check this out. Let's see if his double redacted deck does a thing. Wow, that's a name. Look at that name. Ooh.
Yeah. Obviously, you know the.
I'll come over to you in 1 second.
No, the.
All right, be right back.
Sir, do you mind if I can sit
All right, let's cross our fingers that that everything goes well with this again. But hi, I am Code Dameron, and I'm going to be solo casting this game, round 2 of the Origins Vault Tour 2019. We have David on the left at Madam Q Goldham, and Richard on the right at Styloquick, Abbadelli-Benedictus, Duelist. Let's not confuse him with the other Styloquick Abbadelli-Benedictus. This is the Duelist. Yeah, and so they're both 1-1, 1-0. This is a important round, of course, because you have to go 5-1 at the end of day 1, which this is day 1B, so you have to go 5-1 to win. And it's actually a mirror match as far as houses go. They are both Mars logo shadows, which is very interesting because you don't know what's going to be in your opponent's deck. You don't see your opponent's list for sealed. And let me take my face off. We don't need to see me anymore. All right. You don't know what's in your opponent's list for sealed, and you're probably influenced by what's in your deck. Oh, I know. Well, I know Richard has double redacted, and he's probably thinking, oh, there's not a whole lot of artifact control in those houses. Actually, is there any artifact control in Mars Shadows Logos? There might not be. I know that Richard got one of his redacteds hit by Poltergeist in round 1, so he didn't actually get it off, but he will hopefully get it round 2. You know, I kind of want to see these double redacteds coming down. Let's also cross our fingers for no misplays and whatnot. Alright, so David's going first, and Dominator, I love a Dominator turn 1. That's a fantastic turn, because he gets to play his other creatures around it. And Richard also having the redacted turn 1. That looks very promising for him getting a key on that eventually. And, ooh, what a big play. He plays the Zix Researcher after playing the interdimensional graft. Andrew, good point. There is Destroy Them All in Mars, so maybe it will get hit with an artifact removal. Putting interdimensional graft back is scary for David, because he sees that it's in his archive. David now knows that he can't overreap. Whenever he does that, he's going to get grafted. What he doesn't know, or what he might expect, is that Richard has the Binding Rupture as well. So David here chooses to actually play the Bouncing Death Cork to kill both units. Although I love the card, I don't know if that's a good play there. The Researcher has a play effect and not a reap effect, so it doesn't really get a whole lot of value. I guess it's under redacted, so why wouldn't you play the Helper Bot? Why wouldn't you kill your own Helper Bot, not the That seems like a misplay to me, but maybe David knows something about his deck that I don't. Maybe his Mars house is not very main-like. I don't know. I think having that protection for the Gamgee and the Brain Eater would have been a lot stronger if he had played that Bouncing Death Cork a little bit later. We'll see if that comes back to bite him. I mean, Richard isn't showing any threats right now, but oh, look at the recursion. We saw that he had the double regrowth. David doesn't know this, but we know this because we watched him in round 0. The Nature's Call is very good. This is a gross turn by Richard. I like the play to play the Nature's Call now. Alright, yeah. Just getting notes from my buddies. But yeah, I think that Richard is just playing a lot of cards. Like, I know a lot of players would hold Nature's Call until they found a combo with it. Maybe he has I know he has the Glimmer, he could pick that up with them. Well, I guess now that he played the Nature's Call, he can pick up the Glimmer again. But Richard is playing cards. Put them down, find new ones, get the answers. And it's still early. We have another redacted? This might be 3 redacted on the table? Wow, and a memory chip. So memory chip says at the beginning of your turn, you archive a card from your hand, which really helps with hand texture. You get to rip through your deck so much faster. It's like playing an extra card every turn. It's very, very good. And since he has the memory, the redacted, it's under the glare. There's one spot that I can't stop the glare of. But that redacted under the glare is actually going to do some work for David because it has the memory chip. Whereas Richard really needs to get down his second redacted before it becomes worth it. But yeah, they're just posturing right now. There's no huge plays right now. They're getting amber. They're playing whatever cards they have. David might be like, oh, I'm getting around things because of the Nature's Call being gone. Interesting choice for Richard not to archive the Nature's Call. I think he's saving it for Glimmer because certainly you don't want to have different houses in your archive. Researcher can archive the top card of your deck or the top card of your discard pile. Discard pile order actually matters in this set. Yes, it's kind of annoying. But he chooses not to do the Nature's Call to keep his archive as logos as possible because the graft is already in there, but also because I think he wants to pick up the Nature's Call specifically with Glimmer because it's in the same house. You play Glimmer, you play Nature's Call every single time. That seems very good. What's David up to? That Researcher's going to get oboletted? Okay. And David's keeping a board. David's actually playing more guys than Richard, which is pretty good. Look at this, another sequencing error by David. David could have done the 2 damage from Nerve Blast first. but he kills his own helper bot instead of hitting his Brain Eater. I'm so confused as to why he's making these plays. His hand doesn't show me why he's making these plays. He very easily could have hit the Researcher with the Nerve Blast and then played Obelette. I don't know what to think about this yet. I hope David is not misplaying and has something going on that we don't know about yet. Interesting. And here's the Glimmer for the Nature's Call, just like we talked about. Ooh, is he gonna grab Regrowth? No, you don't grab Regrowth. You grab. So David has 3 bodies that don't have play effects. 4 bodies that don't have play effects. So yeah, Nature's Call gets a ton of value here. And Telega. Wow, Nature's Call on your opponent's board into Telega is a great way to threaten a bunch of Amber. Oh, look at Richard having actual power tokens for Nox. That's one of the implied ones, I think. So he leaves... Okay, he takes all the guys that steal off the board. That seems fine. I'm not mad about that. Leave Brain Eater. It doesn't do a ton. Telega elusive?
Eric, is Telega elusive? No, right? Telega.
I don't think it is. It's like Hunting Witch. It's just got a 3 power. So Brain Eater's still going to smack her. And that's an argument for keeping like Gamgee on the board, because Gamgee can't threaten Telega. And also, you put 3 Shadows cards into David's hand. I think I take... you don't want to get your stuff stolen, though. That's a tough choice. But that is a choice Richard made to give him 3 Shadows cards instead of 3 cards from different houses. Oh, and look. Richard doesn't even know it, but he's avoiding the Carpet Phloxem. That if David's entire board gets destroyed, it's not going to, but if it did, then Richard's whole board would get destroyed back with the Carpet Phloxem. I wonder if David can destroy his own Brain Eater on his turn. Okay, so he's going to go Logos. Maybe he does a turn here where he actually ends up with no creatures, but no, he's going to play the Archimedes down. Oh, he does have the Destroy Them All. Interesting. So David can actually threaten Richard's artifacts, but I wonder... Look, another sequencing error. Maybe it's just... Yeah, another sequencing error by David. That's 3 that I count now. So Richard got a free Amber off of the Archimedes play. When David could have been attacking into it first. David draws Eureka, which is Alpha, which is really too bad, because you only play it the first card of your turn. And, I mean, he wants to go back into Logos, I guess, because he has the Redacted and the Memory Chip. He also forgot about the Memory Chip, and Richard is pointing that out right now. Technically, it is a mandatory effect. It's a little tricky. It doesn't tap, David. So what I'm getting out of this is that Richard seems very, not only familiar with his deck, but he feels like an experienced player. He's playing quickly, he knows his lines, he has his strategies, and he's not making these sequential misplays where the turn order is rough. Are we calling a judge over? Right, so we're trying, I think the judge is being called over right now to deal with this memory chip misplay. Because now that David has drawn the additional card into his hand from the Brain Eater, that he has new information, and now the archived card might be different. But the trigger was missed. Let's see how it's resolved. Here, I think it's not so bad. You put the card under there, you give him a warning or something. Yep. Oh well. Okay, so let's take stock. Let's say we jumped in right now. I think the Destroy Them All is really strong in David's hand. Let's. I gotta move these deck names. Hold on. Let me move these out of the glare. That's fine. I guess that's fine. No, I don't like that. It's all asymmetrical. I know what I'll do. And then I'll put it over here. There we go. That feels a little better. There, now they're like at least opposing. I don't know. We'll fix it later. Anyway, so David is still got this Logos turn going on. Does he end his turn? Did he? I guess he only had the Archimedes and the he wanted to attack into the Telega, which I think is a mistake. I think David should be playing more cards. I don't know. You really do have to kill the Telega because you can't give. He didn't even play around the Telega though. He had the chance, but he played his Archimedes second. And remember he killed his own helper bot. He could have had an extra reap there. He could have had an extra attack into the Glimmer there with the helper bot. David's little misplays are adding up slowly. Richard, on the other hand, plays Dust Chronicles, which I believe archives him a card and gets him an Amber. He's got a rather large archive. Oh, he undoes this play. Interesting choices. His archive first. Okay. If his opponent allows it, that's fine. But you know, you're at the Vault Tour. You should be on these things before you make your plays. Anyway. So yeah, I think this is what happens when you have to call a judge over. It kind of messes with your momentum. It's fine. But I just want to see where David goes with this turn right now. I don't know. I don't know what his plans are. So he Nerve Blast. I think he's just playing for more value, right? So he's getting to 6 Amber. He's going to ask David some questions about can you stop me, and play a bunch of cards. I think Richard is very much a player like me, where I just want to play all my cards and see what happens, and keep rolling. Just draw more cards, play more cards. I don't mind the play. I like it. I wonder what he pulled out of his archive, because it was the Interdimensional Graph that came out of there, and the cards from the top of the deck that hit randomly from the Zix Researcher. Hopefully it works out for him. This feels like we're going to be entering what feels like the mid-game now. They both have some infrastructure. We're looking at a board versus a rather undeveloped board. But if David actually does have Destroy Them All, maybe he was hoping his Brain Eater gets killed. I don't know. It would be nice to have had that archived. Whistling Darts is nice for the Glimmer, but Glimmer already did its job, so it can go now. And yeah, David's just gonna play 5 cards. I think it's actually more because he got Nature's Called, and that's actually a real factor. Is that so? David played only 1 or 2 cards last turn. He archived 1. He played 1, and he drew 1. He played the Archimedes. He archived from the memory chip, and he drew a card from the Brain Eater. He could have played 4 Shadows cards, right? If I were David, you need to get more of those Shadows cards down faster. The Lemindra deciding to protect the Brain Eater and the Umbra. Maybe you can make an argument for the Yantzee Gang instead, but that seems minor. But notably, if David had also played his Shadows turn a turn earlier, then the Yantzee Gang and the Gamgee would have been around to steal from Richard. It seems like David is needs to work on his sequencing in turn and between turns. But that's being a little hard on him. This game is really hard. Picking what you need to do first is tough because. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm bad. Because David was still staring down the Telega. Richard had that very nice Nature's Call into Telega, which means if David had done that turn that I just suggested with my short memory span, then David would have given 4 Amber to Richard, and that's not okay. So David really just had to burn a turn to get Telega off the table. Richard is playing a control game, I guess. Isn't it scary when your opponent looks at discard piles? Like sometimes you can do that just to threaten. Oh, what if I have a mimicry? Look at your opponent's discard pile sometimes. Just make them think you have mimicry. It's a scary thing. Okay, so yeah, here's the second Glimmer. You can see he's already peeking out the Nature's Call. What a play! Is he gonna even pick up his Glimmer again with that? So he could. He has to bounce 3 guys. Okay, get the Steelers. Yeah. Just keep the Steelers off the table. Richard, this is not nice. Richard, this is your 3rd Nature's Call. You have to stop. Why this is so devastating is because David can't draw new cards. If they were dead instead of returned to hand, oh wow, and the Life Web too. Life Web is if you played 3 guys, I steal 2 Amber in addition to getting the first Amber. So it's a 5 Amber swing, it's gross. But it's hard to pull off. With the Nature's Call, you know that you can get it off. Okay, he's regrowing. But don't regrow your Glimmer. I mean, you should, but that's just not nice. Because if you grow your Glimmer, you're threatening to do the Nature's Call play again. But if he plays down his Shadows board like you just put in his hand, you could Glimmer for the Life Web. And Life Web, you can't let him have that. I mean, I guess it's not that bad right now because David has no Amber. Man, Richard is just playing with a ton of tools that are terrifying. Okay, going for the Telega. I think this is a good middle-of-the-road play. The problem with getting Glimmer is, although it lets you have this flexibility for next turn, you're not only forced to hold it for a turn, but because it stops you drawing a card, but it also forces you to go untamed next turn. Because you can't play it this turn because it's alpha. So I actually really like the Telega play here. I hadn't immediately considered that. The Glimmer, like when you're in a Glimmer loop and you're doing these Glimmer things, you just kind of feel like you should be doing that anyway. But Richard is trying to play as many cards as possible, draw as many cards as possible, and really put David in a tight spot. Richard is significantly, and look, he even gets to 6 again. Alright, so what could David have? So David's looking at that Swindle, and I don't like this play. So Swindle is Alpha and Omega. You can only play that only card as your whole turn. It steals 3. And it looks great here, right? Because Richard gets off of his big Amber pile, and then David gets to regroup for a little bit. No. David needs to play all of his Shadows guys and discard the Swindle. You can't waste time not reaping with your guys, not playing your stuff. Ooh. It's rough. And Richard still doesn't know that he's actually playing around that Flotsam, that Carpet Flotsam. If Richard ever kills David's whole board, then Carpet Flotsam can come and get Richard's whole board back. Oh, look, I'm playing badly again. You can't play out your Shadows cards because Telega is on the board again. We are in deja vu right now. Okay, so he goes Shadows. And he discards at least one guy. Is he just going to discard his hand? That feels so bad. What are you going to do?
What's up?
Yeah, so David is in a real hole right now. Richard has this really flimsy board. Like Richard's board, like this is. Let's look at this from the other side of the table. Richard is at in a different matchup, maybe against a Sanctum or Brobner board is the perfect example of. Hold on. Did David also discard cards there? I wasn't looking. I think he probably picked them back up or something. But he plays the Swindle, and that's his turn. If they misplay, it's not on me to fix things, because the idea is that judges can't be watching every single table if it's up to the players to maintain a board state. So I don't think he is misplaying. I think that it is Richard's turn, and they're both thinking. But David must feel really bad right now about just this board state in general. So playing the Swindle there, yes, it's a 6 Amber swing. It gets him off of a key and it buys him a turn. But man, okay, cool. Thank you, Adanaz. Yeah, I wasn't watching. I'm talking to a special guest we'll have on after this. Stay tuned because I'll have a special guest. But yeah, David playing the Swindle. I mean, I guess you can hope that your board gets wiped. Like, if David is thinking about, I'm gonna play Swindle, so I hold off a turn and hope my board gets wiped, then David's playing on the next level. But I don't know. Is that Redlock, that Shadows creature that Richard has? It has Skirmish. It has 3 power. It could attack into the Brain Eater, but I don't think that. I don't think he will. So Rigged Lottery is interesting in this matchup. It's a mirror. You discard 5 cards and you gain an Amber for each Shadow card, and this is probably good for Richard because, oh, that was close. Richard has. It's a mirror match, so this is live for both players. Both players could hit on that. But David gets 2 Amber, and if he had gotten 3, then he would have gotten a key, and that's a huge way for him to get back in the game. Richard got the 1 off of the card, which is already a good thing, but he didn't get the second one. Into the Brig? I guess Richard is looking at the Brig combo. Does David have Brig combo? Maybe. But if David has at least a couple amber here, Richard draws his Binate Rupture. So for those who don't know the combo, Binate Rupture is an alpha card. You have to play it first, but it doubles both players' amber. Gross. What a gross card. But it's funny because you never really get more than 6 amber out of it yourself. Because you forge and you lose 6 amber, you don't double your 6 amber because it's just gone now, made a key. But if you have interdimensional graft, you can double your opponent's amber and then steal all the excess that they made, and there's no counterplay to it because your opponent has no action before they forge their key. So if Richard has the Brig combo here, this could be over very, very soon. We know that he has the graft in his hand, unless he re-archived it, which he might have. Alright, so David is going Logos. Maybe David Briggs. Oh, if David Briggs and Richard gets Richard Briggs back. Brig, Binate Rupture, Interdimensional Graft, Brig. For those of you who don't know, that's one of the big combos in this set with the new Binate Rupture card. Yeah. We have a judge being called. There is a judge calling. I don't know what it is. Hold on, come sit. Hey, so while we're we'll get a judge call, but we have a special guest for after this game once the judge is called. For those of you who don't know, this is Brad. He is the lead designer of Keyforge. Yeah. Yeah. So after this game, we're going to interview him. So stick around. But this game does look like it is going somewhere quickly. Okay, so we'll get back to you in a second, Brad. Back to the game. So it looks like the ruling is when a memory chip happens versus the alpha card Eureka. So the way I thought it should work is that memory chip happens when you declare your turn, and then Eureka goes off as the first play of your turn during your play phase. I don't see a card in David's archive, but okay. David is about to get 3 amber from the Eureka, shuffle his hand, put 2 cards in the archive, and then pull it. But if Richard is holding the Brig combo, then David's in for a bad time. I wonder what got archived. Oh, his archive is off the table. That's why we can't see it. Okay, great. Okay, great. Game state maintained. So David's got 3 cards in archive, but we don't know what they are. The helper bot comes down, plays some more cards, but is Richard going to get his Telega Amber? Wow. Richard has been in control of this whole game. The glimmers into the nature's calls. This game has been about the glimmers. There's double glimmer in this deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brad's still hanging out.
Yeah.
This deck has had double glimmer, nature's call. There's a life web, so if he plays his creatures back down, he gets life webbed. If he holds them, he's under Telega.
He's just under a lot of pressure there.
There's a lot of pressure, and we thought that going into this game, there's a redacted on each side of the table, and we thought that would be like a star of this game. Turns out, Untamed is just enough to control David.
A redacted takes time to go off.
Yeah, redacted takes a while, and even if you have all these great logos cards, David hasn't been able to draw through his deck, and I think that's the biggest thing that's hard to quantify. So watch, here we go. Let's see if what Andrew's telling me that Richard's holding the Brig combo, if this is gonna go off. Oh no, he's gonna miasma. Oh man, that's an extra turn of pressure because I think that's Richard's second key.
Well, he just wants to get ahead of keys.
There it is.
Like that's just going to put a lot of pressure on David.
Yeah, there's no downside to holding off a turn when you have the miasma.
No, exactly.
Gamgee reaps for 1 and gains 1. Redlock's probably going to reap or fight or something. And Redlock could trigger again. Oh no, Amber went flying. Yeah, Richard is putting on a clinic in Amber control, creature control, just very strong, efficient cards, and playing them in a very strong order. There were a couple plays that David made throughout the game that I was criticizing that says, oh, David could have done this a little bit more efficiently, David could have drawn an extra card here, David could have gotten extra damage here, maybe killed a Glimmer earlier, but really, Richard, the way Richard is playing, it does not make a ton of a difference at this point.
Yeah, you just have to make those small plays, though. Like
you have to be playing at
every Amber counts.
Every Amber, every card, it does really count. And you know, I'm trying to just give David some credit here that he is he's getting wrecked, but it's not his fault entirely.
That's just how Keyforge goes sometimes.
Yeah. And hey, it's not over. Richard is sitting at 9 amber now. David's getting his first key. Has David played Mars this whole game? He's been holding that Hypnotic Command for so long now. And he can't be drawing Mars cards. There's no Mars cards for him to go get. He's been holding that that Carpet Flotsam for a while.
That is archives. I see.
That's his archive.
3 Mars cards in there.
David hasn't played Mars this whole game, and I think he's been trying to make that Carpet Flotsam, and there it is, the concession. So congratulations to Richard, and thanks again to Richard for showing us your deck on the stream. But let's come back over here. Hi, I'm Codameron. I'm Brad. Brad, introduce yourself.
I'm Brad Andrews, lead designer of Keyforge. Worked with Richard Garfield for many years on the game, and just so ecstatic to see this Vault Tour finally.
Yeah, this Vault Tour, this is, I think, one of the bigger ones coming in the sequence, because it is at Origins, which is a great con, very big con. And then the big one, con-wise, is Gen Con. That's coming up in August. I love Gen Con. There's always so many people there.
It's a fantastic show. So many people. Everybody's there.
And that's when you get a lot of games released. And I remember being at Gen Con last year. Was it last year only?
Last year when the game was announced.
Wow. And I remember getting my hand on some of the cards and like, okay, there's something here. There's something to this game. And, you know, I was skeptical about the whole deck thing, as everyone is, but it's...
Oh, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to make sure that we got decks out to everybody that attended the in-flight report.
Yeah.
That everyone got a chance to dig into it and play instead of just having to, like, speculate on it for months. And I think people responded to the game immediately at that point.
Oh, yeah. Once I got my hands on the cards, I said, okay. I remember, you know, you look at the house and you say, okay, I wanna play stuff. Andrew, if you want to ask a question, I'll read it. I'll ask him. I remember... like choosing houses for the first time, I go, oh, I can't play all my cards, and that was a really cool moment. And I mean, and here we are now. So
I can't guarantee I can answer all questions, but you can certainly ask.
I mean, yeah, if you're here, you can ask, and we'll. But we were talking about the tournament. We were talking about the Grand Championships are coming up. I'm personally wondering what. I think Nova is the next con, the last con that I know about right now. What? Do you know what events are coming out afterwards? Is something happening in November?
I have no idea on that.
Okay, that's fair.
Organized Play is doing a great job making events around the world, and they're going to keep pushing on that.
And Cascade too. I've been working very closely with Steve throughout this tournament, and Steve's a great bunch of help.
Oh yeah, they're great people.
So let's talk about design for Heart of the Forest. Okay, how do you feel about? So I was going to ask you about some of the standout cards in this set. I was going to start with Redacted, and because we just saw that happen. And so how do you feel about some of the? There's always interesting design cards.
And that's one of the beauties of Keyforge is you want to create those cards that change the game in a big splashy way.
Right.
That's what helps inject that variety and that surprise, and really goes back to the principle of discovery that the game is founded on.
Yeah.
We want to have those like, oh, how does that work? Oh my gosh.
Right. So do you have a comment on Heart of the Forest specifically?
Heart of the Forest was meant to create a card that changes the pacing of the game. Now, obviously, Untamed is really good at gaining amber.
Yep.
But if they get behind, all of a sudden it's like, it might not even matter because they just need the turns. And Heart of the Forest is meant to be like, okay, now you're playing at Untamed pace. And Untamed is really determining how this game is going to move forward. Now, of course, Artifact Destruction can get in your way there.
Oh, yeah. And I see a lot of people. I think the fear of that card is a little bit overblown, because it is very easy to play around it. Because if you're behind and you play it, you still can't win. Like, you're still behind. But it's a cool tool in the game.
Yeah.
But what you say is that it's a card that changes the way the game is played, and I love that sentiment. My favorite card is Speed Sigil. And
what a fun card.
Once you put that on the table, the game is different.
And that's really like, again, coming back to around this, and I'll hit it on the head all the time because Discovery is such an inspiration for us. That's the pure focus of that is like, when I sit down and play a Keyforge game, I don't know what I'm going to get, and I don't know exactly the combination. And you know, you're not playing to a meta particularly, because even if I have a so-called meta deck, the individual pieces that make up that deck.
Right.
Maybe I have a meta deck that has a Speed Sigil in it. All of a sudden, my meta deck is different
totally
than
different
everyone
deck.
else's meta deck.
Yeah. And I love that, and those are my favorite cards. I love Soul Snatcher, Speed Sigil, just things that once you play them, the whole
Grump
pacing, Buggy. Oh man, we have a lot of thoughts about Grump Buggy. Orb and Invictus and all of the stun and reap hate. Can you comment on? It seems like there's a lot of, we call it reap hate, but like a lot of punishment, a lot of stun, sacrifice. You can't reap, and it's a very new mechanic for this set. Why is that?
Well, we wanted to push a different feel for Age of Ascension.
You achieved that.
It's so important that when you approach a new set, that there's this different attitude. Things feel both familiar and different. You really just have this pure expression of change, and sometimes it can be weird, sometimes it can be different, but if you don't have that, then why make new sets?
Why would you buy new sets if it feels the same?
Yeah.
What was there a theme or a specific thing you were trying to push for in Age of Ascension specifically?
Well, it was trying to look at some of the stuff that made Call of the Archons be effective, and then finding ways that decks could be effective in other ways.
I absolutely agree with that. When you look at it with first blush, like the set feels so different, and I go, I can't play these cards. These cards don't work with how I think. And as I put my hands on them, as I put them on the table, as I go through a sealed event and play the same deck 3-4 times, I go, oh, maybe I'm supposed to care about my board more. Maybe I'm supposed to be fighting more. Maybe I'm supposed to be speeding up faster. Maybe I'm supposed to be caring about key control less if I can race a little faster and
that
playing
really,
towards these combos.
Exactly. And it plays into the idea that you really, truly do need to play a deck a couple times before you really know what's up.
Oh, yeah.
Until you really have a full feel of what your deck's capable and what you can do. And especially considering like an Age of Ascension environment, you need to understand that it's going to be a different environment. It just is.
Fantastic. Okay, so I love the environment of this sealed. I'm having a great time, and it's great to have you on stream. Is there anything that you want to talk about? Is there anything that anything that's on your mind?
Honestly, I just like to always take these opportunities to thank the wonderful community out there. You guys are what drive me and my team, and we appreciate all of the support you guys give us. It's just amazing, and we're all just humbled every day by your guys' love for the game.
Oh yeah, and this is why I do this. I love the game. I love making a community. I love being a part of the community, and I found myself with this ability, the time, the resources, and the connections to make this happen. And now I know you. We've talked a couple times.
Yeah, now we're best friends.
No, we're buddies. Oh, look at this. Maybe you can be on our actual podcast one day.
I'd love to.
Oh, that sounds great. Bouncing that cork with Brad. That sounds fantastic. You kidding me? We already have one with Tyler, but because I know Tyler from Star Wars.
Tyler's great. I love Tyler.
We talked about the design process more so, but maybe one day we can think of an interesting topic to have you on for.
I don't know. There might be a couple.
I don't know, and like, trust me, I've known Tyler for long enough, and Tyler has pulled some huge switches on me where I know what cards are going to be. I know what set's coming out. I know what FAQ is going to be.
Tyler's a fantastic human.
Oh,
Love working with Tyler.
He's so good at tricking me. So I know not to say, hey, Brad, what's in set 3? Because we're still talking about set 2, and I think it's still great.
I can guarantee there's cards in set 3.
Cards?
Cards. That's all I can say.
Are there more than 100 cards in set 3?
I will not give any more details other than there are cards. There are cards.
Wow. Well, there are cards in set 3, guys. Get hype. But also, like, set 2, I'm actually really excited about set 2, and I wanted to thank you for designing this game, and I can tell from knowing you that you put a lot of thought, a lot of effort, and a lot of love into this game.
Well, and it's really Richard's inspiration
and
drive.
Too. What's Richard like?
Richard is one of the most fantastic human beings I've had the pleasure to work with. He is so good at listening and taking advice. Just a wonderful person. I can't talk up Richard enough. It was a fantastic experience. I learned so much.
You know, like, I thought, like, what if I had Brad on my podcast? That would be really cool. But, like, having the Richard Garfield, if I could talk to that guy, maybe one day.
It was fantastic. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. What a great experience. He's wonderful.
Anyway, thank you for being on.
Hey,
if people have other questions, you can ask me, and I'll ask Brad separately. I'll post it on something.
Hey, everybody, thank you guys.
All right. Thank you, Brad. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of the...
Appreciate it. Yeah, so Brad's a cool guy. Brad does a lot of work for this game. I see you guys asking questions about rulings, and I didn't ask Brad about rulings because I've been talking rulings with Eric from SAS and Carson. We'll get Carson on here maybe after the next round or something. Carson is the head judge for all North American events, so for the most part, his ruling is law. It's a little bit tricky. I don't like recording rulings answers because then people refer my stream, which is something that he said and it's not officially official. rulings questions are a little bit scary. On the subject of Archimedes, for those of you who aren't aware, I'll just kind of bring this out right now. Archimedes says if he gives his neighbors destroyed, they go in the archives. And the controversial ruling going on right now is if you have Archimedes on the board, you say you have a super wide board left and right around him. His neighbors have destroyed Archive Me. Okay. I play Gateway to Dis, or some sort of nonsense gateway that wipes the whole board. The two destroyed triggers go off, and they bounce. But then they're bounced, right? So Archimedes' neighbors now have destroyed, and they bounce. And due to the structuring of this game, then hypothetically, and as is the current ruling, Archimedes versus a full board wipe archives everyone but Archimedes. And there's some crazy stuff going on with that since I've been asked. We just posted an episode about like how future-proof is your deck, how errata-proof is your deck. This is like one of those very strong moments when like there's probably going to be an errata to that, or it's not as powerful as we think it is. But like if you have that, you can pull it off as of right now. It's super cool. What is it, June 15th of 2019 on the Vault Tour? Go Archimedes and zipper your board up. That sounds pretty cool. Play Knowledge is Power, gain 12 Amber. Do some cool stuff. But like, don't buy a crazy deck for a bunch of money with those cards in it, because there's no guarantee that those are going to stay, that ruling's going to stick. Or maybe it will, and then you had a great deck. I don't know. Roll the dice on that one. That's the ruling on that. If we have any rulings questions, those are a little bit dicey to ask in person. But I can certainly talk to Carson. If we have other questions for Brad, I'll talk to him too. But right now, it's the end of the round. People have cleaned up and whatnot. I'm going to go do some stuff, which means that we can listen to some music. All right? Thank you guys for listening.
Look at the boy run, say, hey, what you trying to prove now? You're running so fast and you left behind out your back. Go on and climb up that ladder, but blame yourself when you're all tired out. Look at yourself caught planning ways to spend all of your dough. You're thinking so hard about how to look best, you know. It's like watching your life turning into a comedy show. See, you've run away from the simplest rule of them all. The only one that holds true through all that you do, and the only one that you need to get back to. I can't put any ears than to say it just be you. I see you got your eyes and some wheels to impress all your friends. And then a bigger house for your things. Hey, where does it end? 'Cause when the payments come due, you won't have those friends to turn to. Now, I'm not saying those things are not meant for you, but just by being yourself, the reward is one that is true. Then all the good things in life will be sitting there waiting for you. You see, it's time to get back to the simplest rule of them all. The only one that holds true through all that you do. It's come time to get back to the oldest international truth. You can't be said any ears than to tell you to just be you. You can't be put any ears than to say many. It's in my DNA. First you do what you have to. No time for games. It's who I am today. From that do as I say. Been through so much healing, but it won't go away. I'll take another, he says to her. Just a little darker, a little deeper rub. Hey, who is this guy and why can't it be me? Listen to yourself again. They're all you, don't you see? What will my alter ego do? What will my alter ego do? It gets much brighter when I live for the day. Indulge on my riches, even as they wash away. This close and far away, which one is true? I was just about to tell ya what I really wanna do. It's what my alter ego do. Tell me, ego, tell me what to do. I feel so guilty, so stop me now.
Don't stop.
I'm done believing till you show me how. Lost in my perception of this too much to do. Wait, Mr. Alter Ego, what did I just do? It's what my alter ego do. Honestly, I think I've got it. Parade out the door. This me and my other ego. This guy in the song. We'll see how long it lasts and how we get along. When you wonder which is who, ask what your alter ego do. Tell me, ego, just tell me what to do.
Check, check. We're live. We're live from Studio A. Check it out.
Yeah, man, this is the Circle 4.
Green grass beneath me, blue sky so clearly, yellow sun surrounds me, taking in the beauty. Love it when you indigo with me. Tell me what color, tell me what color, tell me what color, tell me what color. It's a red letter day.
Ripped jeans and white tee. We'll take the MG. Feeling good and plenty. Just look and you'll see. Rainbows are always meant to be.
Tell me what color,
Tell me what color. Tell me what color. Tell me what color. It's a red letter
San Junipero, it's on the blockchain, and Hyperlogo is in the sim. It's all or nothing, circle 444, this is really something. It's on the ship and in the vault. We don't need no passports, it ain't our fault. Let's take the golf cart, get on the runway. We'll paint this town and make the most of today.
I feel the sun, you feel the vibe. The top is down, go for a ride. To the beach or to the club. A day like this just feels like love. We're all together, we're circle four. This is the day we've been waiting for. So feel the beat and see the hue. It's a red letter day for me and you. Tell me what color. 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 It's a red letter day. Tell me what color. Tell me what color. Tell me what color. Tell me what color. It's a red letter day. Tell me what color. 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 It's a red letter day. Tell me what color. Tell me what color. Tell me what color. Tell me what color. It's a red letter day.
Yeah, man.
Settled in and we're wondering how much of this is real. So many good times in such a short time. So much of this I feel. About as clear as you, about as far as you, about as real as you are to me now. We left again both with a smile and thinking where are we taking this to. As the walls are crumbling, the leaves are falling, all I can think to say that's true. Are those moments when I'm close to you, when our eyes see through, is where I wanna be with you. Where the bad times make for good times, how we're losing track of time. And when shortfalls are our windfalls, juggling all that's in our lives. The part that should fit goes right with it, as our lives become untwined. Uncharted terrain, but nothing here's the same for neither you nor me. I have the sense the parts that don't make sense is what's changing history. The feeling when I'm close to you, when we lock onto, both watch the clock be 10:02. Like when yesterday is like years away. How we enjoy this moment in time. How we mix it, seems to fix it. Rewrite our lessons learned in life. But I lost, share it, still understand it, and choose the path we want in life. Even superheroes need saving too, and I share your fears that I can't do it for you. Let's just live out each moment in time like we're starting over new. Child, in times that moment would catch my eye. I could sum my life in what I felt each 10:02 in time. Even words that I was passing through to get to you, I knew there'd come a time where the bad times make for good times, how we lose and try good times. And when shortfalls are our windfalls, making waves upon our lives. The part that should fit goes right with it. It's the reverse of our past lives. But now it's me and you, from here on to watch the clock be 10:02. Try to pretend, but she can no longer hide her needs in life outweigh how she feels inside. Her body takes control of fire bruising her eyes. She wanders into the night and tries again not to see, but I know she believes. But I know she believes. She examines the room for signs of fortune and fame that she can cling on to. 'Cause when the money was low, she'll do what it takes to get by. She goes far enough to be almost too close to see, but I know she believes. But I know she believes. Change your mind, 'cause I've known all along there's a part of her deep inside that's just like me. Obsession lives on for someone else to provide things a woman must have to live a comfortable life. She can't keep on searching for the one that she thinks she needs. I will go on waiting for another girl who has, but I know she believes. But I know she believes. She believes. skated out in the park and tried to act real cool, he just didn't know. Some things you just have to do. But it wasn't too long before someone came to see that Eddie was somewhere he was not supposed to be. They said, little boy, you have to follow the rules. So Eddie grows older with the thought in his mind to obey what he's told, which was fine at the time, except this one day when he did eyes of Christine. He said she's a girl from another town that Eddie wasn't supposed to be seen hanging around. He knew there was something there, but he became confused, cause he learned that you just can't break the rules. You just can't break the rules. So Eddie sits alone thinking how nice it would be if it was only okay to spend time with Christine. I'm sorry, but rules are rules. There's not much you can do. But one day Eddie heard from his friend named Jim, who was in the same situation as him, except Jim does whatever he wants to do. Eddie said that you just can't break the rules. You just can't break the rules. And Eddie moved aside to watch Jim walk by so that he could cross that city line. He watched Jim embrace. He saw a smile light up Jim's face.
All right, that's pretty good timing. It is time for round 3. Everyone, get ready. I'm gonna go grab some games. We'll get started. Let's start my housekeeping on this. Pairings are up. I gotta go find some players.
He's coming over.
Turns out it has girls like not amazing, but it's so fun. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't play my ride? What?
Or just meet us out here. There's still like 20 minutes left.
All right, we got 2 players. Let's put in their stuff. Okay, we got Luke. And we got David again. Different David, but same name.
First name is Patrick. Patrick! That's the guy right there. Batman hat.
Let's do a little bit of nice formatting with this. There we go. All right, we are back. All right, we got David and Luke. Let's see what happens. I'm looking at, so 2 purple decks, that's kind of cool. I noticed David has 2 chain trackers out. I wonder what that's for. I don't think he's going to get up to 48 chains, but I guess we never know. Let me just double check to make sure all of my stuff is working. Yeah, we're good. We're here. Check, check. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so we have Brobnar Sanctum Untamed. That is a very board-heavy lineup. I think that's the heaviest board lineup that I can think of in this set versus Shadows Untamed Logos. If that was in Call of the Archons, I would say, what a flimsy board. But, like, I don't know, maybe there's Rats. Maybe there's Grove Keepers and Dusk Witches. It does look like, just based on the house matchups, that David is going to have a better time with his board than Luke will. But really, who knows? Hold on 1 second. What? Afterwards. Come over afterwards. Yeah, I just wanted to shout out, David is repping his shirt, and he had a mat for his thing, but I like people playing on my mat on my stream. That's how we do. For RRW Hobbies and Games, it's in Michigan. He's going to come over and do a couple more shout-outs after the game, win or lose. But, okay, so, I don't know. I'm going to be watching for board control and seeing like, just the house lineups. David is probably going to have more tools. I wonder if that's going to pan out. All right. So this is round 3. Both players are 2-0. So, you know, we're still We're still waiting on. You got to go 5-1 today to get to day 2, which is very hard. And losing one game in round 3 is easy for a rough day. So, Luke is going first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Luke is going second. Luke's going second. David's got the drummer knot in hand. Is that a Dusk Witch too? Wow, that's a great turn 1 card. That's a first tier, top tier turn 1 card. If David plays that turn 1, then Luke might be in trouble. But I don't know, does he even have that? I can't tell. Haha. Quantum Finger Tap. That's Luke's artifact. Gain an amber. Action every turn you can move the battle line around. Very strange. So at round 3, you can assume that the player has won 2 games, and you can assume that Shadows players are going to have Steel. Logos players are going to have a strong combo game. Untamed is going to be doing mean things. As you get further into the match, you don't get to see your Archon card, your opponent's Archon card ever, but you know you're really wondering what they have. Okay, here it comes. Turn 1 Dusk Witch, arguably the best play in the set. Luke has to answer that right now. Does he have the Poke? Poke is a very good answer. He has Pip Pip and a Library. I mean, that's Luke's first turn when he drew it, which is a fine turn 1, but the Dusk Witch is now uncontested. And if he has that Ganger Chieftain, Luke is in trouble. With Dusk Witch, you don't really need you just need another Giant, not necessarily a Ganger Chieftain to pull off the combo. But he goes for Rustnar, which I think is a cool play, because he doesn't want to be reaping into the Pip Pip, but he does get to kill the Library off. But really, that's it? David, it's been 2 turns and you played 2 different cards? You can play more cards in your turn, my friend. I'm not a fan of that, but I mean, I guess he values killing the Pip Pip so he can... And there's the Poke, you see? David had a chance here to do great things with that Dusk Witch, and he let the Poke get him. I like the Strange Gizmo. Luke is in the board, in just the straight up house analysis, going to be behind on board. So if he can make that strong Gizmo trigger, then that Strange Gizmo trigger, then he gets to wipe David's whole board. And now that his Quantum Finger Tap is the only artifact he has, then he's not going to lose much. We'll see if he pops the seed or something in advance for that. That was loud. Okay. David, what are you doing? You already lost your Dusk Witch. You had a chance to use it, but how are we going to make up for turn 1 being slow? Or turn 2 being slow? Brobner? He doesn't want to play the Bramo Drummerknot. Yeah, so you should be playing that in order. Ooh. Actually, there's a little bit of trickiness with that. That's actually... You have to play Bramo, and then Drummerknot, and then Bramo to make that board state legal, but whatever. It's fine, but you shouldn't be skipping steps in a Vault Tour. It's fine, though. But David wastes his quad damage Bramo, because you can go play Bramo, play Drummerknot, bounce Bramo, he hits again. Oh, look, I like that. He has a bronze, silver, and a gold key. Oh, someone's just coming over and asking about the keys right now. It's not a judge or anything. But no, they're nice. Like the first, second, third key. They're supposed to be red, yellow, blue. So maybe one day those will be outdated. But there goes the Rustnar. So Luke didn't play any creatures, so even if he wanted to... No, Drummerknot Errata does not say May. Drummerknot Errata just says he can't bounce himself. Orin. Luke didn't play any creatures, probably intentionally, so that he couldn't get Rustnod into that Strange Gizmo. If that was going through Luke's head, then props to you. No, Drummerknot is mandatory. But Luke just playing another 2 cards and gaining Amber. Like, David can't fight into him if, David, you have to bounce your guy. Excuse me.
As long as it's not insane.
Confirmed. Germanaut must happen. Right. Thank you, Broderick. Okay, so what's happening? We have double hidden stash, and finally we see another body come down for Luke. Doesn't look like it's going to live very long. But, oh, so David actually does a cool play where he reaps with his guys, gets a bunch of amber, bounces one to his hand to save, and then lets the strange gizmo go off because there's no use building the board if you're going to get wiped anyway. So Luke is actually doing the thing that I talked about. He just killed what is essentially 3 Brobnar guys, and this is one of the better swindles that I've seen. You don't get any value out of a swindle with the board, but the board's already dead. So play swindle. You're not losing anything because you're not first out of the gate anymore, but you're not losing to a giant board that gets to reap back at you. That's very different than the 3rd round game that we played. Yeah. I much prefer this instance of swindle because it also stopped the key. It was a 6 amber turn where a 6 amber swing turn for Luke where it didn't really matter that he didn't progress his board. And also, his board isn't going to live. Like, you even see the Opal Knight, which is funny, but like, we knew that in the matchup, he's not going to get as much value. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, yeah, no worries. I think that's a hollowed shield. It gives your guy damage immunity for a turn. But here comes Luke. Look at him. Look at how fast he's going. He's not like playing cards fast, but making a ton of amber. Ah, cool. Thank you, Broderick. But yeah, Luke is making a ton of keys. I expect this game to go very quickly because of Luke and his choices. But take a look at this. We have 2 Nepentine seeds. I wonder how he's going to use them. And I would like to see Luke use it for minor advantages. You don't have to get some big swing. I don't want to get barehanded. I don't want to get hit with the Gormov. I guess Gormov isn't so bad, but I don't want a Rustnar to come down and threaten my seeds. I want to see Luke get 2 or 3 amber off of those 2 seeds and be happy with it. I don't think he missed a Flaxia amber. I think that was part of his 4 amber that he did get. Luxac. But yeah. I wonder what's David's thinking right now. He plays the Spirit's Way to kill the board, which is fine, I guess. Ugh, the traitor. She is so good. Too bad she ain't gonna live. But she gives your opponent a useless artifact of yours, and you have to pay you 2 amber. It's not even a steal. It's just like they give you 2 amber. It's gross. Because it also reaps. It basically reaps for 3. And you give them a passive thing or something that they're not going to use most of the time. Very, very strong. Okay, so Luke chooses to go with standardized testing to take it out. I think that's fine. Get Titan Librarian down. Titan Librarian is a cool card that if he's not on a flank, so it doesn't work right now, but if he has 2 neighbors. Luxac, you might be right. And it's not my place, even though we're watching the game, it's not our place to fix the board state. It's on the players to do that. So that's too bad for Luke. But Titan Librarian lets you archive a card after you draw your hand, so you just keep going into your next turns with 5 cards as long as he has some neighbors, but your archive starts to grow. So it's actually pretty good. Titan Librarian is a card that can get out of hand very quickly, but Luke still seems to be ahead. David's just playing cards right now. Like, David can't get as much of a foothold, and I think that Luke having the Nepentine seed out is a big advantage for him. It really puts him a tempo ahead every time. Yeah, I like it. I wonder what he's gonna get. There's a non-zero chance he even grabs the swindle with it, but probably not. Ooh, and look at Luke being the non-Brobnar Sanctum board house, controlling the board. The Strange Gizmo really put Luke in a good position. I think MVP Strange Gizmo so far. Huh. How does David get out of this? He's down a key and a half. I think Luke is not gaining more amber, so that's not bad. I would have liked to see Luke pop a seed for 2 amber somehow on that turn to put David in pressure. That would have made me happier with Luke's board. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure what David's play is. I mean, he's going to play out his cards, right? I'm saying this like he can pick whatever cards he wants. I don't know what cards that he's playing right now. Smith and Smith. He doesn't have more creatures, so he doesn't get more amber. That's really too bad. But David played the cards he has, and you know, he played 3-4 cards. That's the best play he had. I really wanted to see David have cards that got him to 6 amber, or dealt with one of Luke's creatures. Sometimes when you have 4 cards and they just don't do enough, then this is what happens. Now Luke is going to play whatever house he wants. He's going to... He missed his Titan Librarian trigger, which is whatever. Again, board state, like, things happen. You miss stuff. Or maybe I'm missing something about that card. I don't think I am, but Luke should be playing Logos right now and just reaping. Play those artifacts, get your amber, and put yourself at 7. Okay, so he goes Untamed. Because presumably when he reaps, he gets Lollop stunned. Oh, he fights into Lollop? Right, because he has poison and he doesn't die when he fights back. When he hits back because it's Lollop. And that's kind of funny. Little spider killing a big giant. Okay, and there's the persistence hunting. I was going to say, if Luke didn't get to 6 this turn, that would be a huge misplay, but it's okay. I think that there's a more aggressive turn. I think Luke is trying to do some handcrafting here. He needs to work on his Titan Librarian triggers, but it's fine. I can't go over there. I can't tell him. Too bad. And Luke is trying to hold on to this massive Logos hand for when... For some reason, I don't really know. If I were him, I would be playing more cards and drawing more cards. There's even 2... I see another Quantum Finger Tap in his hand for... to get Amber. There's Amber in that hand. Poke. Yeah, I play those cards every time. Oh well. What does David do? David is just... He's holding 2 Derek, the Prince Unifiers or whatever. I think that's a First Blood, which David just doesn't have the tools right now to deal with being behind. David's board, I don't know where it went. I don't know why it never came back. But yeah, David's hand looks atrocious. 3-2-1 house split. His board is worse. He has an artifact and an exhausted and stunned Darna. Ooh. What are you going to do, David? I don't really know. Like, let's pretend David has any amount of cards in his deck. What would he need? Well, I would say Doorstep. I would say, I don't know, some crazy... He has to have some sort of combo. He has to have a big play to come back in this game. Technically, we are tied. We are at 5 amber to 6 amber, 1 key apiece. So it is tied. David, okay, what David has to do is he has to get to 7 and forge a key next turn. I know it's really 6, but Luke is showing 2 seeds. Doesn't he have a Nerve Blast in the discard pile? So David really has to get to 8. And then Swindle, okay, you can't seed for Swindle, that's fine. So David has to get to 8 this turn and forge on his next turn, or he has no chance of getting there. Yeah. Radiant Truth is a very good start. Stunning the Logos, boys. That Osmo Martianologist. And play 2 guys. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a 3-2-1 split. Not even going to activate your Hollowed Shield or whatever to immune yourself from damage. Come on, David, you're missing your free activations. Doesn't do anything. Just giving him a hard time. Okay, he gets to 6. So Luke is going to have to get him off of that 6, and I assume he's going to pop one of his seeds to do it. Luke has 2 choices here. Let's pretend he can do anything he wanted with his turn, because he really can with those seeds. He could even Glimmer for another card. Wow. Turn 2. Yeah. But let's talk about that turn 2 in a second. That's actually a really good point, Broderick. So on turn 2, remember if we go back, there was a Rustnara that hit the table. And the Dusk Witch lived. We saw that the Dusk Witch is going to die anyway, but If he had played his Brobner board out a little bit sooner and not cared about Rust gnawing away the 2 artifacts, then yeah, I think that David would have been much more ahead and been able to put much more amber pressure on the game. Despite still getting Strange Giz mode, he still had the Spirit's Way that wiped his own board. He still had the Opal Knight. His board, turns out, his deck has a lot of board wipes that are going to hit his own guys. Spirit's Way and the Knight as well. Sorry?
Do you know where Eric is? They were asking about the percent drop. Okay,
These are his things. These are his things.
okay, so
But yeah, David has a lot of tools in his deck to fight a board, but he just wasn't pushing the amber advantage when he had the chance to. Product, that's actually a really good point. That turn 2 was rough. Okay, so we see Luke go Shadows, and this is how he can pop the seed and grab some sort of a steal. Nerve Blast. Don't grab Swindle. Oh, there is Nerve Blast. Okay, look at me, I'm right. Here we go. And he'll pop it for whatever. Okay, so he gets to 4 amber, and this is exactly the sort of thing I wanted to see out of Luke's turn, is I wanted to see him get to a bunch of amber. I think that was Furtive Investors, which gets you amber for, like, if you're behind on amber, you get more amber for your opponent's forged keys. I would even argue here that there's a play where you pop your other seed and you play Furtive Investors again and get yourself to 6 today. Because if your opponent can't stop you, then you just win outright. Sure, you're out a seed, but you're still ahead. Right? Am I wrong on that? I might be, like, that's a very aggressive play, but you have to consider that line. Because now, not only does David not need to have, like, he doesn't have to play the artifact, the amber control. Let's say that Luke pops his seed, grabs Furtive Investors again, and gets to 6 amber this turn. Now David has to play amber control, instead of dealing with the Mighty Tiger and this little spider that we just see. See, Luke just traded amber for a board, amber control for a board. And additionally, Luke didn't have to do, Luke traded amber for the board, and Luke didn't have to do any work. Well, Orin, if he had played the second Furtive before he played the Nerve Blast, it would have worked out. So, no, you can't Nerve Blast your own Inca, because then that puts him on a key, and that's way too risky. You can have your cake and eat it too if you play double Furtive first, but I might be wrong. The math is tight, but this is the sort of thing that now David had a turn to not play our amber control, and this lets him not only take out his whole board, right? And let's see what Luke grabs with this other seed. Standardized testing. You see he's playing the board game, right? He's gonna wipe the whole board with standardized testing, which, like, that's not what you're playing for. We're not playing to see who can build the coolest board. And look, he even misplays on the poke. He has to poke himself, I think. Or maybe it's enemy creature. That might be enemy. But look, now he's on 6, and any tools that David had last turn, he's going to have this turn. Right? He does Forge again, but he doesn't have anything. So Luke could have won a turn earlier there. Little efficiency plays. And, you know, the way he played was hedging his seed a little bit stronger. Not popping 2 seeds at one shot is probably a better play. It's much less aggressive and it's much less risky, but when you have 2 seeds out there, your turns have to think that much further into the future. But yeah, that was a good game between Luke and David, and I think that Luke, despite Luke had more tools, but he didn't have a better board in his deck. David had a stronger board in his deck, but wasn't playing towards it, or maybe wasn't. Actually, David was drawing quite badly towards it. I wonder if David's deck has a low creature count. These aren't scanned yet, so I don't know. Let's ask if they want to do an interview. Alright, yeah, somebody might come over. David's here. How's it going, David? Come say hi. Do you mind if I take a look at your list?
Yeah.
So I was making a lot of bold claims about what might be in your list. And would you mind telling me about your list before I actually take a look at it? I mean,
Yeah. So.
Oh, let's. Hi, David.
Hey.
So tell me about this list. So that was a rough game.
It was kind of it was rough.
How did you feel about it?
The stealing really got me. I played Shadow decks every round so far. And the first two wasn't as bad as this one. I mean, the Nerf Blast is still as good first set as it is in this set. The Amber generation in this set seems a lot slower. So to take people off one Amber is a lot in this game.
Right. Yeah, and that one Nerve Blast that hit you twice was very important both times.
It was very important both times. I was hoping that he wouldn't kill that Lothlith, because I was going to double Prince the next turn for 6 Amber.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking at your list, and it seems like there's a lot of very bursty cards. There's a Life Web, there's the 2 Smiths, there's the Darnas.
Double Darna.
Double Darna, Double Smith, Blood Money. These are all cards that can really... The Trader, she's really good.
I actually got my second opponent with that.
Man, she's so good. And the Dusk Witch. So... So the thing I've noticed with this set is if you're ahead, you get all these combo cards that end up working a lot better.
Yes.
And I think your deck is slated to do that. Now that I'm looking at it, I thought you had more board wipes in here, but really it's only the Opal Knight and the Spirit's Way, which is fine.
Yes.
I don't think you needed a board wipe there, but you really got hit by the Strange Gizmo.
The Strange Gizmo, yeah.
And the turn I wanted to ask you about was, so turn 1 you drop the Dusk Witch, and I go, man, here it comes, Dusk Witch. But then turn 2 you go Rustnar attack into Library of Babel?
Yes. Well,
why?
Because I didn't want him to draw cards. I had to blow something up. It was that
right.
with the quantum.
But you
Finger Snap.
So my contention with that was you were holding at least a couple Brobnar cards.
Correct.
And I think that there might have been a stronger line in there where you pressure him on the board faster because the Gizmo hadn't come down yet.
It had not come down yet, so I had no idea that was coming. That was knew it was coming. I would take care of that.
Once that came down, that was scary.
Yeah. So at that point, I made a commitment to I'm just going to reap as much as I can, so that I get my check on him.
And
as well.
he drew the poke.
And he drew the poke.
The poke was rough.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and then I guess in theory, if I left him with the library, he might have gotten to a turn quicker. In theory, but
so yeah,
logic was I didn't want him to draw cards.
In my
based on the current board state.
Watching it in the moment, and playing it in the moment is they're 2 very different things.
Correct.
I get that. But when I saw the Dusk Witch, I go, you should get the red value out of that Dusk Witch.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you even had a Drummerknot, didn't you? So that's
yes,
potentially
so.
4 Amber.
Yes.
Right? I think that is how I would have played that turn instead of just drawing 1 extra card.
I agree.
But otherwise, I think you played it well. I think that you were put behind once he popped the Strange Gizmo. I saw your house lineup, and I go, that Strange Gizmo is going to hurt.
Yes.
Maybe if you had that Rustnar get it, it would have been a different game. But otherwise, sorry you didn't win, but
yeah, okay.
Tell me about your store. I said something about your store in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. So I'm the admin for the Facebook Buy-Sell Trade group.
The what trade?
The Buy-Sell Trade group.
Oh, the Buy-Sell Trade. Great.
Yes.
Very
I'm the
nice.
admin for that group. Casey's my moderator in that group, so I just wanted to give a shout out to that group.
Excellent. Well, it's very nice to meet you, David.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for talking about the game.
Anytime.
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
Despite how it feels, it was a good game from my end.
Yes.
So thank you very much. All right, everybody. That was round 3. Thanks again to David and Luke. Checking my names. We will. I'm gonna go back to the music, and stick around for round 4. Thanks a bunch for watching. Also, stick around if you're listening to the music. I might pause it in a little bit and put on. I might find an interview with Carson, the rules lawyer, the head judge. I mean, stick around.
But the destination I don't want to obtain, it's all wrapped up in styrofoam. The next thing that makes a house a home, it's the journey's end. We don't pretend, and too far along for new old friends, you see. These things take runway. It'll all be okay as long as I keep it all on the runway. The games we don't have time to play, relationships that drift away. Today's chicken soup that feeds our soul, the joy I still get from rock and roll. Hair on my face, I still on a screen. A Milestone, yeah, for something else achieved. No time aside for us to grow. My brothers that I may never know love me. You see, we're all on our runway. It'll all be okay as long as it all stays on the runway. Desire still lives inside of me, and the things in the dark I don't wanna see. Rock Island's flooded in alcohol. The greatest gifts getting through it all. The hangover just needs time. We exercise, we justify, just breathe. We've traveled so much runway. Status quo, the illusion we were taught was so. Supply and demand, we face ahead. Just buy from Amazon Prime instead. Pass each moment with the love of my life. The runway it took to get this right. It's the fleeting moments before our eyes. Anticipation for the next surprise. We count again. In 7 years, what evaporates, what disappears. This edge of time. Machine will click. Best to reach out, grab hold of it while there's still time. While there's still time on this runway. Everything's okay. Hey, don't worry. There's still plenty of runway.
Alright, I'm going to reset the stream for a second. Stick around, I will be right back.